The shuttle doors hissed open, and a wave of humid, oxygen-rich air flooded the cabin. Captain Jarek adjusted his respirator and stepped out onto the moss-covered ground, his boots squelching slightly. The planet, designated as X-427, was a lush, vibrant world teeming with life. Towering trees with bioluminescent leaves stretched into the sky, and the air buzzed with the sounds of unseen creatures. It was beautiful, but Jarek knew better than to let his guard down. Beauty often masked danger. Behind him, his crew disembarked, each of them scanning the environment with varying degrees of wariness. Among them was Zara, the team's xenobiologist, who was already crouching to examine a peculiar fern-like plant. Her gloved fingers brushed against its leaves, and she muttered something into her recorder. "Stay sharp," Jarek said, his voice low but firm. "This place might look like a paradise, but we don't know what's out there." Zara glanced up, her amber eyes glinting with amusement. "Relax, Captain. According to the scans, the most dangerous thing here is probably a mildly venomous insect. It's not like we're on a death world." Jarek didn't respond. He had learned long ago that underestimating an alien environment was a surefire way to end up dead. He motioned for the team to move out, and they began their trek toward the coordinates of a mysterious signal they had picked up during their approach. The signal was faint but unmistakably artificial. It wasn't a natural phenomenon, and it wasn't from any known species. That made it worth investigating, even if it meant venturing into the unknown. Hours later, the team reached the source of the signal, a massive ancient structure half buried in the jungle. Its smooth metallic surface was covered in vines and moss, but it was clear that it had been built by intelligent hands. The design was unlike anything Jarek had ever seen, with spiraling patterns and symbols etched into its walls. "This is incredible," Zara whispered, her voice filled with awe. "It's like nothing in the database. We could be looking at a completely unknown civilization." "Or a dead one," Jarek muttered. He didn't like the feel of this place. The air was too still, the jungle too quiet. It was as if the planet itself was holding its breath. The team approached the structure cautiously, their weapons at the ready. The entrance was a large, circular door that seemed to have been sealed for centuries. Jarek ran his hand over the surface, searching for a control panel or mechanism. To his surprise, the door responded to his touch, sliding open with a low rumble. Inside, the air was cool and dry, a stark contrast to the humid jungle. The walls glowed faintly, illuminating the corridor ahead. Jarek led the way, his senses on high alert. The structure was a maze of twisting passages and chambers, each one filled with strange artifacts and machinery. As they ventured deeper, they began to hear it, a faint rhythmic sound that echoed through the halls. It was almost like laughter. Jarek signaled for the team to stop. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. Zara nodded, her expression a mix of curiosity and unease. "It's coming from up ahead." They moved forward, following the sound until they reached a large chamber. In the center of the room stood a figure, a young alien girl. She was unlike any species Jarek had encountered before. Her skin was a pale, iridescent blue, and her hair shimmered like liquid silver. She was dressed in a simple tunic, and her feet were bare. But what caught Jarek's attention most was the fact that she was laughing. The girl turned to face them, her eyes, a deep, glowing violet, locking onto Jarek's. "You're late," she said, her voice melodic but tinged with amusement. "I've been waiting for you." Jarek raised his weapon, his instincts screaming at him to be cautious. "Who are you? What is this place?" The girl tilted her head, her laughter fading into a soft smile. I am Lira, she said. And this is my home. Or at least it was. Zara stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. Your home. But this structure. It's ancient. How are you still here? Lira's smile turned sad. Time is different for me. I've been alone for so long. But now you're here, and I'm not alone anymore. Jarek didn't lower his weapon. What do you want from us? Lira's expression shifted, her eyes narrowing slightly. I want to see if you're worthy. Before Jarek could react, the ground beneath them began to tremble. The walls of the chamber shifted, revealing hidden panels that slid open to reveal creatures. They were unlike anything Jarek had ever seen. Massive, insect-like beings with razor-sharp claws and glowing red eyes. They hissed as they emerged, their movements swift and predatory. What the? Jarek barely had time to shout before the creatures lunged. The team opened fire, their weapons blazing as they fought to hold off the swarm. The creatures were fast and relentless, their claws slicing through the air with deadly precision. Jarek gritted his teeth as he fired, his mind racing. This was bad. They were outnumbered and outmatched. But then he noticed something strange. Lira was still standing in the center of the chamber, completely unfazed. In fact, she was laughing. You call this dangerous, she said, her voice filled with amusement. You must be Deathworlders too. Jarek didn't have time to process her words. He was too busy trying not to get killed. But as the battle raged on, he began to notice something else. The creatures weren't attacking Lira. They were avoiding her, as if she were somehow untouchable. Lira! Zara shouted, ducking behind a piece of machinery for cover. Do something. Lira's laughter faded and she sighed. Fine. But only because you're entertaining. She raised her hand, and the creatures froze in place. The room fell silent as the swarm stood motionless, their glowing eyes dimming. With a flick of her wrist, Lira sent them retreating back into the walls, which sealed shut behind them. Jarek lowered his weapon, his chest heaving as he tried to catch his breath. What just happened? Lira smiled. I told you. I wanted to see if you were worthy. And you are. Most species would have run screaming by now. But you fought. You're survivors. Zara stepped forward, her eyes wide with amazement. Who are you really? Lira's expression softened. I am the last of my kind. My people built this place as a sanctuary, a place to preserve our knowledge and our legacy. But we were destroyed by a force far greater than those creatures. I was left behind, tasked with finding those who could carry on our legacy. Jarek frowned. And you think that's us? Lira nodded. You're strong, resilient. You come from a world that has tested you, shaped you into survivors. You're Deathworlders like me. Zara's eyes widened. Wait. You're from a death world too. Lira's smile returned. Of course. Only those who have faced true danger can understand the value of life. My world was harsh, unforgiving. But it made us strong. Just like yours. Jarek exchanged a glance with Zara. He didn't know what to make of this strange girl, but one thing was clear. She was far more than she appeared. So what happens now? He asked. Lira's eyes sparkled with excitement. Now I show you the secrets of my people. The knowledge we've gathered, the technology we've created. It's yours if you're willing to accept it. Zara's face lit up with excitement, but Jarek remained cautious. And what do you get out of this?